discuss, possibly approve the minutes of December 12th, 2023 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes. Okay, number 3, mayor's report.
All right, so the last month's numbers are not yet finalized, so clerk's out of town, we won't have those yet tonight. But what we do have is we've got the couple things to cover. We've got our sales tax report. You'll see on there that we came in 43,000 over last month. So that puts us 433,612 over last year in the sales tax. The use tax, you see there was a spike in there, $21,000 spike. That's kind of a surprise. So we'll think that has to do with Christmas shopping and Black Friday and such, right? And then tobacco taxes, you know, that's the one we never know whether we want to praise it or whatever. It's down, we're good, but we want more, but that's not good. So that brings our annual total to $7,175,400 for sales tax. So this time last year we were at 6.6. Let me start over. Last year we were at 6,690,687. This year we are at 7,175,400 to date. So in sales tax income, that's 484,000 over last year's sales tax,
Okay.
use tax, and tobacco tax. So, you know, as we start to look at that trend is holding strong. It's got its ups, it's got its down, but the upward angle is what we're looking at there. So let's look at January, what we have in, according to these, the distribution of the 898, 848. You can see there, I penciled those in for you. I'm not gonna go down through all of those, but that gives you a pretty clear idea of how that was broken up amongst the accounts, with 421,335 put into, I wrote the numbers above the other numbers, I apologize. Put into the general fund. Utilities was 101. The bond account, police and fire was 56,000. Rec, 11,000. Street and drainage, 146. Capital improvements got 5,000 or 50,000. So, but one of the things that I want to address in my report here, and I kind of talked to a little bit of you, each of you about it a little bit last week, are the leases that we carry. So what we've got is basically all of these, except for one, is 2 pages of payments that we still owe. So I'm going to share again kind of what we're proposing for a payoff plan. There's not really any action, except I would like to take it to council and let them know that you guys have seen it and that you guys approve kind of what we're wanting to do. I've talked with Jeff. I've talked with Adam at Bank of Commerce. He's the one who holds these leases, and him and I have worked together on this program. So we're going to address basically 4 of these leases right now. Okay? We're going to start with we've got 5, I'm sorry. We've got the 2020 Tahoes. We basically have, like, when this was done up a week or so ago, we had 2 payments left. So that's, I think 10,000 is the payoff on there. Each of those payments is 5,300. So what I'd like to do, let's get that paid off. We'll take that $53.71 and apply that to the 2022 Fords that we have, and that amount currently is $6,466.19. Okay, what that'll do is that will then, after that last payment we have for the 2020s, that'll take our payment to that lease to 11. These progressive lenses suck. 11, they're supposed to make it easier.
Yeah, right.
11,837. That is not adding anything more than we're already paying. That's just rolling over that current payment into there. So that payoff would originally be 11/17 of 26. Following this, we'd have this paid off at 8/17 of 25. That's going to save us about about 2,000 in interest on those two loans alone. And I can give you guys copies of this. The only thing I would ask is the lease numbers and the bank accounts are on these, so just look at them and just know that they're not out there for that to be dispersed. The second lease that we have is our furniture lease. And this one is gonna be handled, let me jump that one for a minute. We have our dispatch record system. We have two. Those are the Spillman Motorola's. There's two of those. So one is from January of that year and the other's from December. What we're gonna do is basically the same thing, and as we take this 11,837 and pay off those two, we're gonna roll that into the next and then roll it into, so we're just gonna, I guess snowballing is the term. The cool thing is, we're looking at a total savings in following this plan, this payoff plan, of 25,000 plus in interest. And I think our payments that would have gone to 5/2 of 32 will be paid off in 8/2 of 27. So it will allow us to get out from underneath these leases by August of 2027. Like I said, we're cutting.
And that's without any other money.
That's without putting any other money into those leases there. Now, the only place I wanted to kind of introduce a different source of income to the leases is on our furniture lease. We have about 80,000 left on that furniture lease. The current payoff on that, or the payment amount, is $649.53. So what I'm gonna propose is, in our bond revenues that come in every month, you'll see on here, for example, this month we had 101,120 was distributed into the bond, police, and fire. Our monthly payment is about 88,000, rounded to the closest 100, it's 88,000. So what I'd like to do is it would be through June. I'd like to take 9,000 of that excess. I don't want to drain it. I want to leave some in there should we have other expenses that we need to address. But I want to use 9,000 of that. Currently we have, I think it was 215,000 in that account in excess that's been sitting there. I just want to take 9,000 going forward from each month's excess and apply that to the furniture. So that no longer will be paid out of capital, that'll be paid out of the bond. Being that that furniture is related to the building.
That was where we got the loan anyway, wasn't it?
What's that?
Wasn't it through the bond?
No.
Wasn't?
No, that was actually through Bank of Commerce. So we took
Okay.
out a complete separate lease for that furniture. Yeah, sure.
So on a lot of that stuff in the building, from my understanding, they were running out of money on the bond, so instead of doing it through the bond, they did the leases. So that's where all these leases came from, and that's where Zach's been working, trying to figure out a way to get us out, because that eats up a ton of capital.
Yeah.
That affects the entire city, so that's where this started at, was that run out of bond money, so the leases, so it got us in a
So basically, at $649.53, when you're paying off 80,000,
It'll take forever.
913 of 32 was the expected payoff on that. And so I think if we can hit that 9,000 in excess, which Mr. Coker has confirmed, we could even just pay it off. We have that 215 or 11, we could just pay it off, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to touch that money that's there.
And this is on the same subject, but are we going to have any money come back from the construction end of?
We'll have the contingency money, that 247 will be credited to the city when that is all said and done.
Okay, about how long do you think that'll take? No idea, okay,
It's all been approved, it's just a matter of time.
okay.
So
So that'll go back into that fund also.
what this does with that furniture lease, we'll have one payment in July, so one payment in the next fiscal year, and it'll only be 8,800, so it won't be the full 9,000. But by July 1st, we should, in theory, no longer have that on our capital. That'll be gone. And it won't take any more, actually, it won't take any more out of capital because we're gonna pay it out of the bond. Does that make sense? And again, we have about 20, given on the month, about 20,000 excess. So I figure let's let's just use half of that, get this lease out of the way, get it done, take that out of capital, and that'll free up some more. So like I said, what we're looking at with this, is about, cutting about 105 months worth of payments off of the whole deal here, all these leases, saving $25,505 in interest. So, like I said, I'm interested in thoughts, what you've got on that, but I would like to promote that up to council so that they can, and since it's not on the agenda for action, we'll just do it if you guys are okay with that. That way, we're kind of committed to that payment plan, and it locks us in, so that hopefully within 2 years, we got a lot of this behind us. Any thoughts?
No, it's a good idea.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's what I said, you know, if that was my personal, that's how I would be handling it if I had had that many.
Just so you know, they're small too, but the lease is listed at the top, and this one has both those vehicle leases, so you can look at that at your leisure.
Okay, thank you.
But other than that, any questions?
Huh.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 4, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding transferring $46.24 from the clerk supplies account number 02-209-5032 to the recreation center supplies account 84-845-5032 to correct payment error on purchase order number 2320231184 paid to Culligan of Tulsa. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Call for the vote?
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Okay. Discuss possibly recommend council action regarding moving $150,000 from Fire Department Capital Outlay Account 44455-5422 to Fire Truck Reserve Account 45455-5412. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
I'm gonna try and
Okay.
pull a fast one. I know, last budget, we talked about the money from the 22-23. This is the 23-24 budget. But, we've been talking with Courtney and the mayor and, Ms. Blue Lori, as a treasurer, about taking that money and instead of it just sitting in those accounts, actually investing it. And I know, I think back in the day, maybe we waited, to move that money from the capital into that fire reserve fund, just waiting to move it just in case we had other things like y'all see the combi tool we got coming.
Right.
So if we overspent that, we knew what to move, but the sooner we can move that over, and I talked with Courtney a little bit about that, like once capital gets moved over, if we can move that, because if we can take it and invest it, we're making money on it, kind of deal. So you look at, we try to set 150,000 back a year.
A year,
I mean, in 3 years, you got almost $500,000. If that's sitting there building money on top of that, because when we get a new truck in, it's anywhere from probably
7
40
to 9.
50,000 just to equip it, once it hits the station. But that's what that is, and I think, wait until that April timeframe. I think last time, though, you did have that at budget where it showed where we talked and voted about it. And I don't know if it just wasn't showing on some of their end that it actually got switched over or moved over.
I thought we did this about every year.
Yeah, we usually do, and I think they usually wait till that later, so if we or if we need to use more money for a tool or something.
Something broke.
Yeah, kinda come up, so that way they don't move it over and then have to move it back. But, as long as we're doing what we're supposed to and actually getting good numbers, the sooner we can get that over and Lori can invest it, we'll be making money on that. Money we've got sitting there in the fire truck.
Might as well be making something instead of just sitting there idling, huh?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
But
Okay.
that's what that's for, and, we've talked with Courtney, and like I said, the mayor and Adam, I think we've hit them up a couple of times, and Lori, Miss Blue, she's pretty spot on that, and there's some stuff that the council gave the treasurer back when, Miss Thompson was there to allow them to go out and take that money and invest it.
Well, there's some times that when you try to invest it, you weren't gonna make anything off of it anyway.
No, and that's
It's
the
gotten
thing,
better.
because we're building, I mean, we're looking at, like, this money's going to trucks that'll be 6, 8 years from now.
Mhm.
So if we take that money and actually invest it, I think we're actually taking money instead of just sitting back and not accruing a lot. And they know way more than that. I'm just a put the wet stuff on the red stuff kind of guy. So, but now Lori and them, and like I said, Courtney and the mayor, they've all talked. So I think we can make a good game plan for that money and make it make money for us.
Good deal.
Yep.
Anything else? Any further discussion? Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Call for the vote?
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
Okay, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding an expenditure in the amount of $14,219 for a rescue combi tool and battery and removal kit to the Davenport Fire Equipment Sales LLC to be paid from the Fire Department Capital Outlay Account 444455422. This rescue tool is compatible with the current tools on the truck. I have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
And like I said, we're right there. I think we did 150 and then we did 15,000 for that tool. So we were right there to where we were right at needing what we needed to get that tool. But that tool's compatible. And I don't know if it was in your all's packet. I'm sure the ladies put it in there, but it was also, there was a letter saying that that's a regional sales deal. So we can't really go out to quotes to get that. And the reason we switched over to the Amicus tools over the Hearst is you can actually use the DeWalt batteries that are on our Sawzalls and our drills
Okay.
and stuff. So
Makes
our
sense.
chargers and everything, they all marry up to that tool, and it's a regional sell. They've got the cells for Oklahoma, like most of your rescue tools. It's not something like you can go out and bid once you've kind of committed to a company, but they're all right there in the same line. But I would say that's in the best interest of the city to utilize the company that we've already got tools on board, the trucks, the batteries and the tools and the
Sure would be.
tips exchange.
So what does this tool do?
So it's a combi tool. It'll actually spread and cut for vehicle extrication, any kind of technical rescue like that where we're cutting and prying metal. That's what it's used for.
Okay.
We currently carry those on our engine, so if they show up before the rescue truck shows up, that
So
has an actual spreader and a cutter. That's kind of it'll do just about everything you need to do until you need that power from the actual spreader and cutter.
So it's kind of like a smaller Jaws of Life, huh?
It's pretty much the Jaws of Life, or what everybody remembers, what we call the Jaws of Life, but there's not too many people that remember when you say it's the Jaws of Life.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, no, it's a pretty good tool, and the cool thing about going to the battery-operated stuff, we're actually finding, especially, I don't know if y'all paid attention, but like the 3 elevator rescues and stuff like that, when we're in confined spaces like that, we're not off-gassing. We used to have to carry pumps in, and we were actually had a gas pump that was letting exhaust off if we were in an elevator shaft or something like that. So now our saws and our combi tools and our spreaders are all battery operated. So the guys can actually go in there, and it's not just for the guys, but also the victims that are trapped in there. We're not just off-gassing a bunch of
That's good.
crap.
It is good, yeah.
Finally, we're getting batteries that'll do it.
Yeah, and the cool thing is the Amicus, I don't know if they were smart or what they were planning or doing, but like our DeWalts, you can take those out and you can go from the 20s to the 60s and swap them all out, and the chargers run them. So it's pretty convenient because, like I said, we've got a case on the truck that's got a Sawzall, a drill and stuff like that. So you can pop those batteries out and throw them right on those Amicus if you need to. If you we still got shore lines that'll plug into a generator, but
Yeah,
we got enough of those batteries, and they're making batteries that actually
will last.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the good
They're
stuff.
good, but we cut up a full car when they came out and tested those, when we switched to Amicus. We cut a full car up with a combi tool and 1 battery.
Wow.
And so we took the roofs off, all the doors, I think they did a dash roll, and they did a V-close blowout of it, all with 1 battery. So,
My goodness, that's a good battery.
yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Sounds like a plan. You guys have any other questions? Nope. All right, we'll call for a vote. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes. Okay, number 7, we're gonna take no action on that. That probably didn't need to be on this one, so I don't know if we have to, actually call for a vote. I can read it if we need to.
You don't need a vote for that.
Okay,
No action.
sounds good. So that's gonna be a no action. So I have no unforeseen business. Do we have a,
So I'm gonna bring
okay,
what I called you about this morning.
all right.
So I am only bringing this to your attention because at the last minute, because I got the response from an email this morning when I came in. I have been working with Google for about 2 months now. I reached out to them and asked them if they had any kind of technology grants that the city could utilize for and in behalf of us and our technology as council and the clerks for municipal business and such. Wasn't something I felt we needed to really have, but if they had something out there, then we would greatly utilize it. And so when I was connected with the Global Government Affairs Advocate for Google, her name is Katie, she responded back that they would love to help us and help us figure out what we can do. This morning, I got a response back that they are going to grant us $10,000 for us to purchase Chromebooks for the council and the clerks. The amount was 12 Chromebooks. So if you're familiar with Chromebooks, you know that they're only about $200 to $300 max for a fancy one. So if her comment was that if that 10,000 was not enough, they would adjust accordingly to make sure we had what we needed. And if that 10,000 was more than we needed, we could use the excess for technology that the city could own. So plant some ideas, maybe new microphones, maybe a smart board, maybe something.
A whole new audio
Something.
video system.
So the one reason I want to bring that to you guys is the way that works is much like how the school works, where they create a PO, then we have to create an invoice against the PO, then they pay us back. So today, Lisa and I looked at some of the capital outlay accounts, and we've got an account, it's the software account in the 44. So it's not, I don't even think it's in the,
It's not general fund.
yeah, correct. And it's got 56,000 in it, and that's one where we were just using for make little payments on things. So given the reimbursement, that would be sufficient to take that out of that to make the initial purchase, and then they would reimburse us. So I'll present this in full to council when I have more the detail of which Chromebooks we want to get, what we want to do, what we'd like to spend. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we were rewarded the $10,000 for that. We also this week, maybe it was tail end of last week. It was Friday, we got the rec center was awarded a grant for retro lighting for $74,000.
Oh, good.
So on top of that, we started today with Danielle, our grant writer, Ariana, and the EDTA paid the grant writer's fee of $2,100. And so that will be potentially seeking a $500,000 grant for the community building, the Graham Community Kitchen, specifically the kitchen. That's a rural development building grant. It's facilitized by the state, but it's federal dollars, so there may be some additional reporting we have to do. But I just wanted to pass on that the grants that the city is, if we can lock down that grant for the Graham building, we've received in this administration's time till now over $1 million
Grants.
$1 million in grants for projects, vehicles, technology, and so forth. So just wanted to throw that out there that we're doing really good to seek out those opportunities to spend other people's money. So we can laugh about that a little bit, but the idea is, yeah, so when you see your department heads, again, congratulate them for the grant usage and things. They've been working really hard to do that. So,
We saw several that the police department had
yes. So,
obtained.
and we have other grants that are being pursued right now that are just not to this point of reporting or talking about, but that one from Google will come up in council meeting.
So the Google grant.
Yes.
It's $10,000. Does it have to be used on the Chromebooks?
That's what I asked them for. So
You asked for Chromebooks?
yes, I asked specifically for Chromebooks. We have oftentimes comments that information is not accessible, we didn't get information, we want to make sure that information is communicated. The iPads that we have are, they might as well just be wheel chocks, they're worthless. They're about 5 years outdated and then some. So the grant was specifically requesting Chromebook technology.
So we have to buy the Chromebooks and then they reimburse us?
And that's pretty common. So I ran it by Chase. Chase is all on board. Chase has actually submitted in already his ethics letter that is requested from them, saying that it's all ethically correct and that we're going about it, but also promising that we will use that for what we ask.
And other technologies
And other
after.
technologies if there's excess. So we do have a little bit of flexibility.
Which there
on
should
that.
be excess if a Chromebook's
There
only
should be
$200 to $300.
several $1,000s excess.
How much would it cost to get an audio-video system in this room? that's
Haven't had
new?
time to process that. It can get very expensive very fast. The biggest complaint that we get, actually more so than the quality of the video, is the quality of the audio.
Correct.
So that's where my first intention went today. I'm not saying we're going to, and whatever, but ideally, we could put in better microphones that are more streamlined, take up less space, come a little closer, that would give us a higher quality audio. That might help that situation, and that would fall definitely within the remains of that money. It's actually, would cut it pretty close to being right at all of it.
So the excess funds from the Google grant, we could use that, we can use that for anything, doesn't have to be a Google product.
Does not have to be a Google product at all. It said other technology that the city can own.
Okay,
So it could be anything, but I think, the intent was to better our communications here, and that's kind of where I would like to try to keep it.
And save a lot of
Thank
this
you.
too, wouldn't it?
Yes.
All right, that's it.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
motion.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Okay, call for the vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.